Let's explore a new approach to interpersonal blessings. This evening's lesson is drawn from Green Tana's Easy Dzogchen, inspired by Dzogchen Rinpoche's final meditation manual. Lamas are asked to bless all sorts of things, business ventures, marriages, and the like. So I'd like to share some tricks of the trade, if I may. Wrong button. Let's try 5. Well, this is interesting. Let's see if we can fix this and make it easier to chant. Let's chant together. Those who tread that path of Devadatta squander time and energy with contrivances of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. So, Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything blows, but not in the fun, tingly way, including meditation teachers. And 90% of them will tell you, man, if you want to manifest, well, you got to visualize, you got to be emotionally involved, you got to work magic, you got to believe. That's the bread and butter of manifesting. But it turns out that it's worthless. It sinks us deeper into yang. The path of yin, we take a different approach. Let's continue chanting it with the word upon. Wait a second. Harry Lama, I'm quite ill with bronchitis, but I'll stay as long as I can. Oh, Patricia, I'm sorry about the bronchitis. Maybe it's all those bong loads. So let's hang in there. So let's begin our chanting with the word upon. Upon this path of the Buddha, we simply recite these words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. So together, let's chant. May all relationships of all beings be as joyfully loving as they. We'll stop right there. So we've basically just said what we want. We want all relationships of all beings to be loving. Now, we evolved to think symbolically. When we skillfully use similes and metaphors, we access the inner recesses of our mind. So we're going to do that right now. So again, we're going to begin again at the top. May all relationships of all beings be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's communication symbolized by this 10-syllable mantra. So we have 2 comparisons. The first is comparing the love of just everyday sentient beings to the dynamic love of a fully enlightened being. And that's very lovely. And then the second comparison is comparing making the abstraction of a Buddha's love into something somewhat more tangible, like, for instance, the 10 syllables of a mantra. Now, upon the path of yang, people are so rigid, they tend to be literal-minded as their default mechanism. And that creates all sorts of confusions when dealing with tantric literature. Upon the path of yin, we are flexible and recognize that not everything is literal. Some things are similes, some things are metaphor, some things are hyperbolic. And if we insist that everything written is literal, that can create some very bizarro metaphysics. So one thing you'll notice is that this is a very gentle love. This isn't a passionate, neurotic, fearful, reaching thing. It's just, hey, It would be lovely if all relationships were loving as a Buddha's love that is symbolized by mantra. So it's very, very easy. It's a very, very gentle wish. And a lot of the Chinese metaphysics, they talk about throwing just a shit ton of passion into your manifesting. But that feeds neurosis, and it pretty much pulls us away from the equilibrium that seeks to transcend the tyranny of dread and desire, pulling and pushing. So we're taking a very gentle, balanced approach. Now, the real dynamo of this, we've used the magic of words to set our intention. During my first 3-year retreat, I was taught that words guide intention, intention guides mind, mind guides energy, and energy guides matter. Oh, well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? So the dynamo of this comes from the actual meditation, and I'm going to have to cut and paste for a moment. Do bear with me. Fabulous. So there's a twofold process here, an effortless Dzogchen manifesting. The first one is this: mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It has evolved not to indulge neither extreme of mind blanking or active concentration, but instead to merely notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. For instance, as we breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite, "Notice this." And having just chanted this loving wish, the odds are pretty positive, pretty strong, that thoughts of love will be bouncing around the chambers of our heart, so to speak. Now, when this happens, it's very natural to not only be enthusiastic about this very positive thing, but also to be wary of its negative opposite. And so when thoughts of that which opposes love, fear, hate, jealousy, insecurity, and the like, wanders, we can release it. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are accessing our parasympathetic nervous system. It too is found within our spinal cord, this time in the lower lumbar region, as well as the tippy top of the cervical region. And it is evolved for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. And so, by simply silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during our exhalation, it helps us let go of that which may be the opponents of fear. And so we see in Dzogchen effortless manifesting and effortless protection through the spontaneous processes that are already latent within our mind. So together as a team, let's practice this exercise just for a few moments. And so it could be said that the tripod of Buddhist manifesting work would be chanting and mindfulness and meditation. I do look forward to chanting and meditating with you even more after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have been studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of Buddhism as a full-time job, so that you wouldn't have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This evening's text is Green Heroine's Easy Dzogchen. The contemporary practice of Dzogchen has 3 categories of practice: awareness and letting go, bliss and letting go, and love and letting go, all 3 of which we will touch upon this evening. In the more rigid and fearful schools, they tend to look at yadams or devas as entities to be supplicated and worshipped. But on the path of the Buddha, the path of being flexible and loving and laid back, we view this as merely an archetype whose iconography reminds us of our own enlightened potential. Let us begin by exercising the neural pathways responsible for both empathy and enthusiasm. Our first chant, our first recitation, is going to be more literal-minded, and we're setting it to a quasi-triplet chant together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, by relying on thee, Buddha's example, instructions, and students. The second recitation is more concise and more figurative, and we are setting it to a bookend chant. Let us recite it for 3 repetitions. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. Let us chant the love that wishes for the universal mastery of Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all master letting go and love, as well as kind communication, conduct, and calmness. May all master the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity, as well as mindfulness and meditation. So during each inhalation, due to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Now, as I mentioned previously, we do not practice active concentration upon the breath. Well, if we're not concentrating upon it, what are we doing with the breath? We treat the breath the way a pianist treats their metronome. When we notice our body inhaling, we could silently and mentally recite, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. When we exhale, when we feel our body exhaling, we can silently and mentally recite, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Now, the price of mindfulness is vulnerability, which is communicated symbolically by the nudity of this meditation archetype. Let us contemplate the iconography of this archetype of enlightened activity. We're going to begin with bliss and letting go, which is known by many names, including Anu Yoga, Bindu Mahamudra, Tikles, channels, winds, and drops. Together, let's chant. I and all living beings as extensive as space have had our crowns of white lotus and moon seeds. So previously we explored that during our inhalation we are wired to notice all manner of things, the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. The question remains, what are we to do with all that which we notice? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are accessing our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower lumbar region of our spinal cord as well as the tippy top of the cervical region. It's wired to support both physical relaxation and mental release. This could be understood figuratively. Every time we exhale, whatever we inhaled during the previous inhalation, whatever we perceived or experienced during the previous inhalation, could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. Perhaps that is why this meditation archetype is often depicted as being translucent and as non-graspable as a reflection of the moon in a basin of water. As we inhale, let's silently and mentally recite sitting tall, reminding our body to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. As we exhale, let's silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. Let us continue contemplating the iconography. Upon this lotus and moonseed from... Take two. Upon this lotus and moonseed from Talma rises the archetype green totem. Her body is comprised of green light. She has two hands and one face. Her right hand resting on her right knee is in the giving mudra. Her left hand is at her heart with the ring finger and thumb pressed together holding the stem of the blue pala flower which blossoms at her left ear. We return to the meditation we played with during the lesson, wherein during the inhalation, we silently and mentally recite this, and during the exhalation, we continue silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing. Here's a fun fact. When people are obsessed with concentration and contemplation, their blood often gathers at the anxious and aggressive amygdala, making them rather cranky. Then they will view that crankiness and decide they want to be loving instead, and they will indulge more concentration and more contemplation upon love and wonder why the crankiness remains. That is echoed within the pages of the words of my perfect teacher, that frustration. However, when we set aside concentration and contemplation, when we replace concentration with mindfulness and contemplation with meditation, spontaneously the blood shifts from the amygdala to the anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as if it was the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy. And so the great irony is that just as the Dzogchen Lamas insist, the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. Perhaps that is why this meditation archetype is presented as beautiful. By the way, welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, please type your question in the chat window. Let us continue with the iconography. In fact, look like a bunny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Copy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Here we go. She is peaceful, smiling, and fully matured, adorned with all the precious garments and ornaments. Her left foot is tucked in and her right foot is slightly extended. In preparation for the inevitability of death, on top of her head appears a pneumatic form of Amitabha. We continue with our mindfulness and meditation, switching from a 3-syllable paradigm to a 1-syllable version. We can practice mindfulness during the inhalation by silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And we can practice meditation's release during our exhalation as easily as silently and mentally reciting the 1-syllable verb ease during our exhalation. The syllable, the word ease functions as a synonym of the word relax. Consider, if you will, this image. We see the female actively sporting in tantric union, reminding us that spontaneity trumps contrivance. We notice our partner passively enjoying tantric union, reminding us that not all spontaneity is created equal and that centered spontaneity trumps its scattered counterpart, reminding us that when our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from love's effortless effort of centered spontaneity, our life can be as blissful as Buddha's real or imagined paradise. Now that we have climbed to contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. The greatest offering we could make our teacher is to apply his instructions of the conventional truth of awareness and the ultimate truth of release. Let's offer solar plex wisdom thoughts who said yet has not graspable as a void. Om Shama Tara Dharme Baditsa Hum Soha. One moment, if you please, while I do a quick edit, just to have some fun. I'm a word nerd, so this is what I think is fun. Together. Whom let's offer heart, wisdom, feelings, and true will, yet has not graspable as a void. Om Shama Tara Pashe Patitso Hum Soha. Trom, Trom lets off an evil wisdom, tastes flavorful yet has non-graspable as a void. Shamatara rase pate sohum soham. Second thought, I think I would rather make bold a different word, if you do not mind. Traumas often evil wisdom tastes flavorful yet has not graspable as a void. Shamatara rase pati sohum soham. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Freelance offer, oopsie. Freelance offer threat wisdom sounds resounding yet as non graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Vini Pati Sohum Soham. Excuse me. All that's awful womb wisdom since a fragrant yet as non graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Gande Pati Sohum Soham. Oopsie. Let's offer crown wisdom, lights appearing yet as non graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Adashe Pati Sohum Soham. Having played with gestures and body parts and energy, we now can rest the mind in meditation. During our inhalation, we can practice the mindfulness of perceptions as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And during meditation's release, we can silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation. Now, let's we're bringing the experience of the four bases of mindfulness, but this time into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized. Together, let's chant. Those who tread that path of difficulty squander time and energy with contrivances of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. Upon this path of the Buddha, we simply recite these words in harmony, with all breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Together. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real Lord. Imagine Buddha symbolized by a tikle, one syllable seed or bija mantra. May all relationships of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's communication symbolized by this ten-syllable mantra. There are many names for this exercise. Some call it generation stage. Some people call it generation stage. Some people call it Tantra Mahamudra. Some people call it Mahayoga, and other people call it Tokal's leap over jealousy. So instead of competing with others, we're trying to be wiser, trying to have better relationships, we're wishing all beings everywhere very good things. Together. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddha's taught, depicting the blissful body of an imagined deva. Depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined deva or yataman archetype of enlightenment such as green Tara. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or vati. So the phrase real or imagined is important. It's not our job to believe in phantasmagoria. It's our job to simply wish others well. We evolved to think symbolically, hence the use of simile. So having brought the mental and the interpersonal and the physical and the circumstantial into the path of love, let us now watch the play of mind as silently and mentally we recite this, and let us relax into mind's non-graspable nature as silently and mentally we recite the verb ease during each exhalation. Again, we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness, but this time into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized. And please remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. Please chant with me. Those who tread the path of Devadatta, caught in the thrall of rigidity, confuse metaphors for literal statements. Upon this path of the Buddha, we relax into flexibility, savoring the chants that explain the metaphors as similes. Together. As we inhale, all circumstances or loss could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined paradise or vaulty of light. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined octopoiedom of light. As we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined mantra of light. As we inhale, we could notice all mind's perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined bija seed mantra, bija seed cerebral of light. And now we can relax into the physiological aspect of letting go. We now train in the philosophical, we now train in letting go through the lens of philosophy. As we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. Okay, thank you for your patience. Let's continue. All circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this body or form. And so what we're doing, ironically, is using our own inherent self-centeredness to grow in the wisdom that eventually transcends that same self-centeredness. Let's continue. All forms or bodies could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this communicational speech. All interdependent speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this mind. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be non-graspable to the hand. Let us chant the Dharani that explains the mantra's meaning. Whoops. Here we go. Quick little adjustment. Om Amajatara, the swift one, the swift and take two. Om Amajatara, the swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Tutare's meditation. Heroine fulfilling all aims with today's mindfulness, thus with the suitable Soha may it be so. For the remainder of the practice, everything we've done has been a preliminary practice to bring us to this. The bringing of the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go, which is known by many names, including Dzogchen's Great Completion Stage Tantra, Sutra Mahamudra, Ati Yoga, or Trekcho's slice through the tyranny of the duality of dread and desire. So, here's the key to really making the most out of mantra meditation, to transform mere mantra recitation into actual mantra meditation. During the inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the italicized phrase, relaxing into this. During our exhalation, we could physically relax as best we can as we strive to chant these 10 syllables 4 times per breath. But wait, there's more. When I look at this pronoun, this preposition, I'm reminded of the song from the 90s, maybe it was the late 80s, by Faith No More. The line goes, what is this? What is this? So in this case, what is this? This is whatever we notice spontaneously, vulnerably, passively, and randomly. Or I should say vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Don't want to confuse myself. It could be a sight, a sound, a sensation, a flavor, a scent, or the like. It could be an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or a figment of our imagination, pleasurable or painful. It could be external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. The only label we need ever use is simply this. Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa Om da de de da de 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 so wa dare nu dare nu re so wa. Om 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 dare du na de du de so wa. Om da de du na de du de so wa. Om da de du na de du de so wa. Om Tane Nu Nane Nu Re So Wa. Om Tane Nu Nane Nu Re So Wa. Om Tane Te Tane Nu Re So Wa. Om Tane Te Tane Nu Re So Wa. Om Tane Nu Nane 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 Nu Re So Wa. Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa 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 Om Tane nu nane nu re so wa. 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 Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Su 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 Wa. Om Dane Nu Dane Nu Re So 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 Wa. Om Dare Nu Dare 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 Nu Re So Wa. Let us seal this evening's practice May all minds be as wise as Buddhas, may all speech be as loving as mantras. May all forms be as healthy as Tata, and may all lots be as fortunate as pure lands. May every meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings. And practice master as well as instruct them generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May whole meditation teachers spontaneously receive generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And may many Dharma centers likewise be successfully planted, nurtured, and supported. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even support this channel. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.